The maid walked in on her boss half-naked and discovered a shocking secret. The hallway was silent except for the soft clicking of Anna's shoes against the marble floor. Her hands trembled slightly as she balanced the breakfast tray, fresh coffee, toast, eggs, and a slice of melon, just the way Mr. Carter liked it. She pushed open the bedroom door gently, as she always did, but what she saw inside froze her in place. "Mr. Carter?" she whispered. Standing there, fresh from the shower, was her boss, or at least that's what she thought. A white towel was wrapped around his waist, water still dripping from his hair onto his shoulders. That wasn't what stunned her. She had seen him in less before, when he was too careless to care about the help. No, it was the tattoo. A dark, sharp-edged mark across his chest. Her heart dropped. The tray in her hands slipped, crashing to the floor, porcelain shattering, coffee spilling across the carpet. He looked up sharply, eyes narrowing. "Anna," he said, his voice calm but heavy, "what's wrong with you?" She couldn't answer. She could barely breathe. That tattoo. She knew it. She had seen it once before, years ago, hidden beneath the shirt of another man. The boss's twin brother, Daniel. The twin who was reckless, arrogant, and cruel. The one the family never spoke of. Anna's throat went dry. "But, Mr. Carter, you don't have," she stammered, her words breaking off as fear tightened around her chest. For a split second, she swore she saw something flicker across his face. A smirk, a warning, something dark. He stepped forward, towering over her. "You're imagining things," he said smoothly, almost too smoothly. "Clean this mess up." Her knees nearly buckled, but she nodded quickly, lowering her eyes to the broken pieces. Yet, inside, her mind was racing. That tattoo doesn't lie. That's Daniel. It has to be. Then where's Mr. Carter? The thought made her skin crawl. She remembered the strange change 2 weeks ago when her boss came back. From his vacation, he had been colder, more detached. His jokes didn't land the same. He forgot names he once remembered. Even the way he stirred his coffee was different, small things, but enough for someone like Anna, who spent years in the background, noticing everything. As she picked up the shattered porcelain with shaking hands, she dared a glance upward. He was watching her too closely, too carefully, like a predator making sure the prey didn't slip away. And in that moment, Anna knew. The man standing half-naked in front of her wasn't the boss she had served for years. It was someone else. And if her suspicion was right, the real Mr. Carter wasn't safe. Anna didn't sleep that night. She lay awake in the tiny room the staff quarters gave her, staring at the ceiling fan as it creaked in slow circles. Her chest felt tight, her thoughts looping over and over. That wasn't Mr. Carter. That was Daniel. I know it. But why here? Why now? She closed her eyes and saw the tattoo again, clear as daylight. By morning, her decision was made. She had to know the truth. The next day, she moved carefully. She smiled when the imposter walked by, kept her voice steady when he gave her instructions, and pretended nothing was wrong. But inside, her nerves burned. When the house was quiet, she slipped into his office. The smell of leather and cologne hung in the air. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, striping across the mahogany desk. She swallowed hard and pulled open the drawers one by one. Bills, papers, nothing unusual, until she found the passport. Her hand froze. She flipped it open. The photo was her boss's face, but the name printed inside wasn't Michael Carter. It was Daniel Carter. Her stomach turned. "Oh my God," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Footsteps echoed suddenly in the hallway, and his heart leapt into her throat. She shoved the passport back into the drawer and closed it softly, moving away from the desk just as the door opened. He walked in, towel gone, dressed sharply now in a crisp white shirt and black slacks. His hair was slicked back, his jaw sharp as ever. "What are you doing in here?" His tone was calm, but his eyes burned with suspicion. Anna forced a smile, holding up a stack of papers she had grabbed at random. "Dusting, sir. Just cleaning up some of these." He studied her for a moment too long, the silence thick between them. Then slowly he smiled. But it wasn't the smile she remembered from her real boss, the warm, half-crooked grin. No, this was thin, calculated. "Of course," he said. Carry on. He left the room, but Anna's knees shook so badly she had to grip the desk to steady herself. He knows I know something. I need to be careful. Her eyes darted to the drawer where the passport was hidden. That was proof enough. And now, one question echoed louder than all the others in her mind. Where's Michael? That night, the mansion felt colder than usual. The long hallways seemed endless, every shadow whispering secrets she wasn't supposed to know. Anna waited until the house grew quiet, until even the security guards outside had settled into their lazy rhythm. And then she moved. Her heart pounded as she padded barefoot down the corridor, clutching a tiny flashlight. She knew where she had to go, the study. That was the one place Mr. Carter had always locked when he traveled. But now Daniel practically lived in there. Anna slipped inside, closing the door behind her. The room smelled faintly of cigar smoke. Books lined the shelves, but the desk was spotless. Too spotless, as if someone had erased every trace of activity. She pulled the chair out and lowered herself onto it, her hands trembling as she powered on the computer. To her surprise, it didn't even ask for a password. That was the first mistake. Michael was always cautious, paranoid, even about security. Emails popped up on the screen. Anna leaned closer, reading fast. Her blood ran cold. There were messages in a foreign language, dates, bank transfers, instructions. And one email subject line stood out. Shipment confirmed. Michael secured. Her breath caught. She clicked it open, eyes darting across the words. It wasn't long, but it was enough. The real Mr. Carter wasn't missing by accident. He was being held, somewhere far away. Oh God, she whispered, covering her mouth with her hand. A creak behind her made her freeze. Working late. Anna's whole body jolted. She spun around, and there he was, Daniel, leaning against the doorway, arms folded, his eyes glinting like a blade catching light. She scrambled for words. I was just... He stepped closer. Each click of his shoes on the hardwood floor made her pulse jump. You're a curious one, Anna, he said softly, almost kindly. But his smile didn't reach his eyes. That can be dangerous in a house like this. Anna swallowed hard, trying not to let her fear show. I didn't mean to pry. Daniel tilted his head, studying her. For a second, the silence between them stretched so tight she thought it might snap. Then, unexpectedly, he chuckled and waved a dismissive hand. Go to bed, he said. You work too much. Relief and terror tangled inside her as she brushed past him, her legs stiff, her palms damp with sweat. But as she hurried back to her quarters, one thought burned brighter than her fear. Now I know the truth. Michael is alive. He's trapped, and Daniel is hiding it. She shut her door, pressed her back against it, and whispered into the darkness. I have to save him. The following morning, Anna moved like a shadow. She smiled when spoken to, carried out her chores, but inside she was screaming. Every glance Daniel gave her felt heavier now, like he was weighing whether she knew too much. She needed to tell someone. Someone who could do something. But who? The staff? Too risky. They all feared the Carters. None of them would dare question him. The police? No. Daniel had money, influence. One wrong word, and she could disappear before sunrise. Her only chance was to reach out to someone Michael trusted. That evening, when a mansion quieted down, Anna slipped into the small laundry room where she kept her phone hidden. Staff weren't allowed personal devices during work hours, but Anna never followed that rule completely. Hands shaking, she scrolled through old messages. Months ago, she remembered Mr. Carter exchanging calls with a man named James Porter, his lawyer, maybe even his friend. She had overheard the name often enough. She found it. James Porter. Anna bit her lip, hesitated, then typed quickly. This is Anna, Mr. Carter's maid. Something is very wrong. Please call me. Not safe to explain in text. She hit send, her chest heaving. A minute passed. No reply. Another minute. Still nothing. Then ping. Who is this really? What do you mean wrong? Her fingers flew across the screen. Your client isn't who you think he is. He has a twin. Michael might be in danger. Please, don't tell anyone I contacted you. She hovered over send for a second, her mind screaming, What if he shows Daniel? What if this backfires? But it was too late. Her gut told her this was her only chance. She pressed send. Her phone buzzed almost immediately. Where are you? Can you meet? Before she could answer, the laundry room door creaked open. Anna's breath caught. Anna. It was Daniel, standing in the doorway, his figure framed by the hallway light. His voice was calm, but his eyes scanned the room like a hawk. Her phone slipped into her apron pocket as if it had never left. Yes, sir, she asked, forcing her voice steady. He tilted his head. You've been distracted lately. Anna's lips curved into a smile she didn't feel. I'm just tired. Long days. For a moment, silence stretched. Then Daniel's lips twisted into that thin smile again. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be busier. He walked away. Anna's knees nearly buckled. She pressed a hand over her racing heart, whispering to herself. He knows. God, he knows something's off. I have to be faster. Her phone buzzed again in her pocket. She dared not look until she was alone, safely back in her room. Then she pulled it out and saw the new message. Meet me tomorrow. Discreetly. I believe you. Anna exhaled, her eyes blurring with sudden tears. For the first time in weeks, she felt the tiniest spark of hope. But as she closed her phone, another thought chilled her to the bone. If James believed her, then Daniel would do anything to stop her from leaving that house. The next morning, Anna woke before the sun. Her stomach churned with anxiety and hope. She dressed quickly in plain clothes, tried to look invisible, like any ordinary passerby, not the maid of a mansion harboring dark secrets. She waited until Daniel left for his meetings, or so he claimed, and slipped out the side gate, careful not to make a sound. The street was quiet, the kind of stillness that made every footstep echo too loudly in her ears. She clutched her phone tightly, eyes scanning every shadow, every passing car. Don't let him see you. Don't let him see you. Finally, she reached the small cafe James had suggested in his message. He was already there, sitting at a corner table, scanning a tablet with sharp concentration. And his heart thumped so hard she thought it might give her away. James, she whispered, approaching carefully. The man looked up, eyes softening as he recognized her. Anna, thank God. Sit down. Quickly. She lowered herself into the chair, glancing around. No one seemed to notice them, but the cafe felt too small, too exposed. Tell me everything, James said, leaning forward. His voice was urgent, but calm. Anna took a deep breath, recounting every strange detail she had noticed. The tattoo, the change in behavior, the passport, the emails. She even admitted the terrifying moment in the study when Daniel had appeared behind her. James listened, eyes narrowing as the story unfolded. This is serious, he said finally. If Daniel is in control, Michael could be in real danger. Do you know where he might be? Anna shook her head. No, I only know he's abroad. There were emails, shipments, something about him being secured. James exhaled slowly. All right, here's what we're going to do. You'll need to be very careful. I can't go to the police yet. They won't believe a maid over Carter. But we can start tracking financials, travel logs, small pieces, until we know exactly where Michael is. And you need to act like nothing's wrong at the mansion. Anna nodded, swallowing hard. I can do that. I have to do that. I have to save him. James placed a hand over hers, briefly. You're brave, Anna, but don't underestimate him. Daniel isn't just careless. He's clever, and he's dangerous. One wrong move. Anna felt the weight of his words like a punch to her chest. I understand, she whispered, her jaw tight. Later that night, Anna returned to the mansion. Daniel was already inside, pacing in the living room, phone in hand. He paused, eyes flicking toward her, a faint smile curving his lips. You're back early, he said, voice calm, too calm. Anna smiled, heart hammering. Just finished errands, sir. He nodded slowly, watching her like a cat watching a mouse. She forced herself to look casual, to act as if nothing had changed. But inside, her mind raced. She had allies now, plans forming. And for the first time, she knew she wouldn't let Daniel control her, or Michael, any longer. Tomorrow, we make the next move, she thought, biting her lip. Days passed like years. Anna played her role perfectly, quiet, obedient, invisible. But behind that mask, she was building her case piece by piece. She took photos of the fake passport, forwarded emails to James in secret, and even recorded Daniel's voice when he slipped up on Michael's personal details. Every night, she whispered to herself, "Hold on, Michael. I'm coming for you." Finally, James called. His voice was steady, but Anna could hear the urgency underneath. "We found him, Anna. Michael's being held in a private compound overseas. Authorities are preparing to move. But I need you to keep Daniel distracted, just long enough." Her chest tightened. "Distracted? James, if he suspects me." "You're stronger than you think," James interrupted gently. "This ends tonight." That evening, the mansion hummed with its usual silence. Daniel sat in the study, sipping whiskey, papers scattered across the desk. His sharp eyes flicked up as Anna entered with his drink tray. "Loyal Anna," he said, almost mocking. "Always here when I need you." Her hands trembled, but she steadied them. "Always, sir." He studied her for a moment, as if peeling away her mask. Then, slowly, he leaned back, smirking. "You've been busy lately. Sneaking around. Whispering. I wonder, should I be worried?" Anna forced herself to meet his gaze, even as her heart hammered. "Worried? About me?" She gave a small laugh. "I'm just the maid, remember?" For the first time, Daniel's smirk faltered. His eyes narrowed, suspicion tightening his jaw. And then, sirens wailed outside. The color drained from his face. He bolted from his chair, rushing toward the window. Red and blue lights flashed against the mansion walls. "No," he growled, spinning back toward Anna. His voice was low, dangerous. "What did you do?" Anna stood tall, every ounce of fear burning away. "I told the truth." The front doors burst open. Armed officers swarmed inside, voices commanding, weapons raised. Daniel lunged toward her, but two officers tackled him before he could reach her. "Michael Carter's twin, Daniel Carter, you're under arrest," one shouted. Daniel fought, snarling, but he was dragged away in cuffs, his eyes never leaving Anna's. "You'll regret this," he spat, before disappearing into the night. Hours later, Anna stood at the airport, her heart racing. James was beside her, phone pressed to his ear. "They have him," he said finally, lowering the phone with a relieved smile. "Michael's safe. He'll be here any moment." Anna's knees nearly gave out as she sank into a chair. Tears blurred her vision. For weeks, she had lived in fear, in silence, in shadows. And now it was over. Moments later, the sliding doors opened. A man stepped through, thinner, tired, but unmistakably him, Michael Carter. His eyes scanned the room until they landed on her. "Anna," he whispered. She ran to him, tears spilling freely. "You're safe now," she cried, her voice breaking. "You're finally safe." Michael's arms wrapped around her, strong even after all he had endured. "Because of you," he said, his voice rough with gratitude. "You saved me." For the first time in weeks, Anna allowed herself to breathe. The nightmare was over. But deep in her heart, she knew the memory of Daniel's last words would linger forever. "You'll regret this." And she couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't the end.